Good morning, good morning, good morning. Hope everyone out there's doing fantabulous, amazingly well, super good, incredibly well, better than ever imagined, happier than the most amazing happy person ever in the world. I don't even know what that is. I don't even know if there is such a thing as the most amazing happy person. But yeah, that's what you should be, ladies and gentlemen. That's right. Make sure you can actually see me. Here we go. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Autumn, thank you. You kind of hopped on early. I liked it. I was going to type something to you, but I was actually trying to figure out where the frick this CD was. I had this music on it that's okay to play. Hello, Jules. Good day. Hi. Bug of Flea. Chatting while driving. You shouldn't do that, so please don't. But hey, nice to have you in here, Bug and a Flea. You guys should get along just great. AI, thank you very much. And hi from Albert, Canada. Is that your name, Albert, or is that Alberta? I don't know if there's a city named Albert for that matter. That's cool though. Darius, woo. I don't even know. It looks like 4 boxes to me. I don't even know what you put in there, but that's cool. All right, anyway, we're going to talk a little bit about fourth dimension stuff, and then we're going to get into Q&A. I just think it's a lot of fun to talk about the aspects of 3D, because I think a lot of us, we get into areas in our life where things maybe change a little bit, right? We get something happens, and we lost a job, maybe we got to move, maybe we got an eviction, maybe we got broke up, maybe, I don't know. I mean, it's not even necessarily bad. Maybe we're in a great place, everything's happy and hunky-dory, but we'd want someone to come into our life that currently isn't there. Maybe we have some little thoughts around that. Maybe we kind of stalked them on Facebook, said something mean, and now we're like, they blocked us, right? Like, I don't know. There's a lot of places where we want to change, because generally speaking, when you're moving in the manifesting direction, you kind of see things progress, at least in my opinion. And as you see things progress, it's kind of easy to see that, well, I'm heading in that direction. So you don't get too worried about the fact that you're not there, but you're seeing yourself moving towards there. But when someone puts a very distinct block, or, you lose a job, like I said, I'm not trying to, activate all these negative things in people. It's just the fact that a lot of us are in places where I want to be able to change this. I want to be able to stop the hurt. I want to be able to make things happen differently. And we come at it from a place where I think we focus a lot of the times on the past, on the actual issue in the past. And so Goddard really kind of has a cool little thing here where he got into, and it's literally, he called the chapter Thinking Fourth Dimensionally. This was not me coming up with this. It's in Out of This World, once again, in the infamous reader that this thing's trashed. I mean, this book is, dude, I've annihilated it. There's pages that I can take out because I've been so mean to this book. This book is, oh, yeah, there it is. Woo. Thought I was going to lose the page. Doing live, that's why you always do silly things. Anyway, he gets into the whole fourth dimensional aspect of it and how change happens. And 1, I really agree with this. And 2, I think this is a little different than a lot of us come at it from. A lot of us, I truly think, focus so much on the thing that caused the problem, the issue that happened that's now in the past, right? And we spend a lot of time thinking about it. And that's not how change happens. Can't, in fact, happen that way. And so many of us come from this place where we're trying to make this thing stop that's in the past. And we keep it alive in the current because of the fact that we keep thinking of it. And so anyway, we'll get right to it, and then we'll get into Q&A, and hopefully everybody will be just hunky, happy, dory. All right, thinking fourth dimensionally. Right off the bat, he's got a quote from John 14:29. And now I have told you before it come to pass, that when it is come to pass, ye might believe. So right here he goes, many persons, myself included, have observed events before they occurred. That is, before they occurred in this world of 3 dimensions. Since man can observe an event before it occurs in the 3 dimensions of space, life on Earth must proceed according to plan. And this plan must exist elsewhere in another dimension and be slowly moving through our space. Now, I've frequently talked about how things are happening, they're in process. I mean, even Goddard says it. He doesn't just bust it out and say it like me, and then people are like, no, Goddard says you can manifest instantly. It's a process, I really think. I mean, some things, like we think the thought and then it happens. I think there's some precognition. I think that's also what we're talking about here, which is cool, right? Because you've seen something before it happens. Same thing, right? But maybe you didn't necessarily instant manifest it. Maybe you were kind of in tune with what was coming. I'm not trying to say it wasn't, just saying I have weird thoughts sometimes during the day. Anywho, if the occurring events were not in this world when they were observed, then, to be perfectly logical, they must have been out of this world. And whatever is there to be seen before it occurs must be predetermined from the point of view of man awakened in three-dimensional world. Really what he's saying here is for events to occur at all, they must kind of be in this other place. Now, this other place, and it's not like airy-fairy, it's not in another cul-de-sac in yonder way, it's not in the next city over. This other place is really this fourth dimension. Now, for any of the people out there or watch this that are into the fact that there are other spatial dimensions, I'm not going to go too far into the nerdy land, but I love it. I'm of that nature too. I've done plenty of math. That was actually where calculus got hard for me, was the multidimensional stuff. Yeah, there's spatial, but we're not talking about that. We're talking 4D, which a lot of people consider to be time. And that's what this means, is this thing must exist in another place that we will intersect with. I talked about kind of energetically. We talk about how you feel as though the wish is right. You get yourself to that place of feeling like you've got this thing already. And then you sync up with the timing of it as it occurs. Like it comes, you come to it, like you sync together, but it's this fourth dimensional component, this weird, it's like, can't touch it, but, oh, go MC, can't touch this. Anyway, so my point, you kind of got to understand that it's there, it's real. It's no less real if it's in tomorrow, right? Like, think about it for a second. Like, if it's not here right now, say, for example, $100 bill. You want to have a $100 bill, bam, in your hand right now. And you're like, so let me ask you, since I don't see a $100 bill in my hand right now, but if I knew for fact tomorrow I was going to see my mom and she was giving me $100, and if she was going to put it in my hand when it's the day before, is that less real? The fact that tomorrow for sure I'm getting it? Is that real or is that not real? So that's the question I'm going to have to ask you, because it's going to help us frame some terms and terminology that we can use to discuss things with each other. What's real? What is real? I mean, I think it's a good question. I'd love to see some of you guys jump in. But the fact is I think that's where the whole dilemma is for a lot of us. Just because it's in tomorrow, even though it's coming for sure, especially those of us that are really kind of more the veterans of law of attraction or beyond intermediate and advanced, right? Like, you know, this stuff's happening. It's no big deal. It works. And thank you, Jonathan. It's really sweet of you. You know what's going to work. You know these things are going to happen. So from that standpoint, it's really important to help us. It helps us, I guess, break away a lot of our things that are blocking us, a lot of the things that we get hung up on, the fact that we're losing our job, or the fact that they broke up with us, the fact that they're not in our lives right now, the fact that maybe they moved to someone else's house, maybe they're living with the father now, your child or something, and it's bumming you out, right? Like, there's any number of things that you'd like to change that aren't quite going how you would like them to. So, if you know you can change that through this law of attraction mumbo jumbo, then it's just an issue of it being tomorrow. So when we get to those places, we're like, oh, this isn't real. Like you should have like an answer that you're like, oh, it's very real. Like this is happening. It's like, yeah, it's out there. It's out there in this fourth dimension, this other place and time tomorrow, next day, the day after. And from that place is where you will experience it from that place forward. So Goddard continues, thus the question arises, are we able to alter our future? My object in writing these pages is to indicate possibilities inherent in man, to show that man can alter his future. But, thus altered, it forms again a deterministic sequence starting from the point of interference. Now, really quick. So when you alter it, from the moment of alteration, it begins a new sequence of events. Sequence of events that will change your life. It's not like it just goes, no, it doesn't. It doesn't. It creates a sequence of events that you will then walk through, you will make decisions through, and you will slowly, fastly, whatever, you will kind of get to the place of manifesting this larger thing, right? The new job, the SP, the breakup is getting back together. The fact that you're trying to move and you need more money. It will create a sequence of events, because in order to manifest the bigger things that a lot of us think are so much harder, because they are, it's one thing to say, I want to manifest finding a quarter on the street, right? All right, big whoop, you found a little metal hunk that fell out of someone's pockets, right? And yay, I manifested that instantly. Why can't I manifest a complex relationship with another human being that lives in another city? I don't understand why that's any different. Well, in our minds, we all understand it is different. It is. Now, as a teacher, just like everybody else, you have to say, well, it's how you look at it. And it is. Oh my gosh, it's both things at the same time. It's crazy how it works out. We have to understand that altering the future, as he says, creates a sequence of events that will occur. Now, I don't know what these events are. It might be just thoughts. It might be a number of thoughts. It might be getting you to get up off the couch. Good example I had, a lot of people want to maybe make manifestation, like have someone fall through the sky into your living room, right? You maybe never really leave the house, and you're trying to manifest a relationship. And you're like, well, I know I've manifested, things without having to necessarily go anywhere. And there's no reason why not. Could be a delivery guy or something, maybe for Amazon, right? Maybe he has to knock on the door because it requires a signature. And I just show up with this beautiful negligee. That would be so rad, but not really a good idea. It's kind of creepy. But that being said, you might be trying to manifest that sort of thing, but life, your soul, your higher self, God, I don't know, some form of something that gives a crap outside of ourselves. Maybe it's just our higher selves, which that's for sure, right? In a lot of ways. Anyway, maybe there's a part of ourselves in this life that we needed to experience. And maybe instead of staying inside all the time, maybe you need to get out and talk to people. Maybe you need to go, hey, hi, people, because you're supposed to interact. Your energy needs to be shared with the world. Your thoughts need to be shared with the world, on top of getting a boyfriend. Don't get me wrong, boyfriend's coming. But there's other things that maybe you're not necessarily considering doing because we're so narrowly focused or trying to even manifest something in a strange way. Rather than setting up the sequence of events that are going to unfold. Sequence of events that will get us from A to Z. Z being however many days down the road. However many fourth dimension steps, units down the road. I always talk about how life kind of happens to us in like moments, right? Like we experience moments. I don't feel like it's really time usually. Sometimes it is. Sometimes you're just like, oh, Lord, right? That other times it's moments. It's like, I was at the DMV. Frick, man, I was there like 3 hours, right? It's chunks of time. It's an experience. The DMV was an experience. You weren't necessarily counting every single 150,000 seconds that actually occurred. Might have been a hair less. Maybe you went down to the one in San Clemente for those of you that live in Southern California. That's the one that's notoriously better. You got to drive a little bit and it's kind of off the beaten path, but when you go there, you don't wait nearly as long. But that being said, so Goddard continues to be able to change the future. The second you do the alteration, from that moment forward, it creates a set of steps. So the most remarkable feature of man's future is its flexibility. It is determined by his attitude rather than by his acts. The cornerstone on which all things are based is man's concept of himself. He acts as he does, and he has the experiences that he does because his concept of himself is what it is, and for no other reason. Had he a different concept of himself, he would act differently. A change of concept of self automatically alters his future. A change of concept of self automatically alters his future. This is the most important key step probably in this entire chapter that is buried in one Goddard sentence. But it is a Goddard goodie, right? This is a Neville nugget. A change of concept of self automatically alters the future. This is why everyone says self-love, self-love, self-love. Everyone hates self-love. It's ridiculous. Why would I want to do self-love? Self-love sucks. But a change in concept of self automatically changes the world. It's a thing none of us want to do. 9 times out of 10, the thing that you don't want to do inside your mind is the thing that's holding you back from the dream you have. It's that thing you don't want to do, but it nags at you to do it. What's inspired action? A nagging feeling sometimes. How many of us are ignoring a change? See, things happen in the past. Fourth dimension, time, right? You broke up, you lost a job, Whatever it is. What's the thing in the past that happened? Even if it's not even relative to the thing you're manifesting right now and you just happen to be on the live stream. And I love you guys. And we will, Jacqueline, and we will get you questions. I look forward to it. But so many of us have this thing in the past that we hang on to. We don't let go of. Can't. How do I move on from it? The change in self is what is needed. Something happened. Case of a job. Maybe you weren't performing. Maybe you were being lazy. Maybe you were having issues with attendance. Maybe you just weren't doing a good job. So a change in self. What was I not doing right in this situation? What can I do to alter this current reality I have? A sequence of events begin to unfold. Breakup. Why'd we break up? Sometimes relationships don't out of the blue break up. They can. And you could be with someone, by the way, and we'll take that step first. Sometimes they are just out of the blue and you didn't do anything wrong. It was them, not you. Not like I've never heard that before. Ouch, that stung to the soul a little bit. Anyway, but it's not the fact that they ran off because they were never probably going to be there for you long term to begin with, right? They already fled. They already took off. Maybe things got hard. I got to leave. Or maybe they just totally did the unthinkable. And that's just the kind of person that you were with at that time because of who you were at the time you met them. Not necessarily who you are right now. And so what happens a lot of times, by the way, when change starts to occur in our life, especially in the case of breakups, jobs, things like that, sometimes events happen because of all the good work we've done. Maybe you're at a crap job. Seriously. And you weren't going to leave because, again, you didn't want to do that nagging thing. You didn't want to. You didn't want to do the thing that you know you need to do. Might be hard, might be uncomfortable, what if, I don't know. I do the same things. I'm not trying to make fun of anybody. Been there 100 times. But that's why we fail oftentimes on our manifestations. We expect A to Z like that. No, sequence of events, things, stuff, moments. We're going to travel through life to that location in some dimension, not quite here, in some planet beyond here, in some other location. And technically speaking, if you think about the way the Earth orbits around the sun, right? This is just a little stupid fact, side salad. Earth orbits around the sun, certain speed, moon around us, we actually kind of around each other, us around the sun, sun's around another object, which is around other objects. We're totally moving through space and space. And if you think about where we are in a day, well, we've moved thousands of kilometers, thousands of miles away from where we just were a day ago. We're really far away. We're traveling very quickly through space and time. So just something to think about. You're literally not in the same place tomorrow. Completely new location. We are just literally just buzzing through space, just, like on a comet, just floating around a comet and meow. Anyway, something to think about because it's true. So I hope I think of it. Man's assumptions, which are his great rewards. Change of concept of self automatically alters his future. And a change in any term of man's assumptions, which he regards as insignificant, produce effects that are considerable. Therefore, man should revise his estimate of an assumption and recognize its creative power. We assume a lot of things. Again, stuck in the past thinking. And we keep assuming that we didn't do anything wrong. We keep assuming we were perfectly free from any sorts of sin. It must have been so-and-so. It was the janitor. It was the person that did this or that. They did it. It wasn't me. But the reality is it was our experience. It was our life. It was our consciousness that created it. It's us. So instead of going, trying to relive that over and over, what did we learn? What did we take from it? What are we changing about ourselves to go to this other place? We had a breakup happen. What was it that we weren't doing right in the breakup? Now, I already talked about they're horrible cheaters or something. Well, they did you a favor. So we need to look differently and maybe find love rather than trying to get someone back and then change them. When you met them, who you were was someone that attracted a cheater. So the self-love, work on ourselves, from that standpoint, we create a life where now all of a sudden we're attracted to and they're attracted to us, people that are of higher quality. Now, in the case of relationships that are getting back together for sure because they should, why did the relationship fail? Was certain things left out? Were you not paying attention? Were you not being sensitive? Were you always jealous? Were you always wondering if they were doing something wrong? Were you constantly annoying them? We're like, what? I mean, all of us have done crazy things. It's not you, it's me. I've heard that before too. Love it. But what do we learn from this? What are we going to change about ourselves right now that will automatically change your life? Automatically begins a sequence of steps that connect the dots to the beautiful picture that you have in your mind, to the feeling you have in your heart of this place that you want to go. That's what you're doing. You're creating that sequence of steps to that place by who you are, by the attitude you have, not by your acts, not by the fact that I took the fork out of the drawer. No one cares. It means nothing. But why were you pulling the fork out of the drawer? It was the feeling. I was hungry. I wanted to eat. Dang straight. Now we're talking. You're feeding yourself. And that was just part of the experience. It's part of the moment. Sequence of events. So things have to happen in our life to get us from A to Z. A to Z, as a lot of the world says. I love Z. I think it's a cool word. Cool way to say the letter. It's a way for us to get from here to there. Sequence of events, moments that will happen. And those happen from us. So what are you bringing to the table? Who are you when it comes to the discussion of moving towards this dream you have? Getting back together with this love of your life. Making the hurt stop. It's a question I've gotten a lot lately. I'm not trying to beat a dead horse here. So hopefully, when we look at things from this standpoint, when we listen to the fact that Goddard says all changes take place in consciousness within ourselves. The future, although prepared in every detail in advance, has several outcomes. At every moment of our lives, we before us have the choices of which of several futures we will choose. Sequence of events, moments of choice. Kind of how I see it. People talk about multiple realities and all this. Well, really the way it's, I think, for the most part, if you don't have a choice, then you're kind of going A to B. But the second something happens, do I want to do this? Do I not want to do this? Should I do this? Should I not do this? The choices I have. At that moment, boom, two forks get forked. Two forks get forked. Interesting. Fork in the road happens. Two paths get created. We'll try that. That sounds better. Live, sorry. But you choose one path consciously, and the other path is chosen unconsciously. Like the other dimension, whatever. That's what some say. But the point of the matter is, number of choices will occur between here and there. A to Z, A to Z. A number of steps, moments, choices, things we're going to do, choices we're going to make about ourselves, enhancements we're going to make along the way will create the outcome that we so feel like is a fleeting dream. If you're having the issues with it, and we've talked a lot of techniques, so I hope you guys realize that this is just kind of coming at things from a different standpoint. But when we realize that tomorrow, back to my original point, the fact that there's people here that probably weren't here earlier. And I'll finish it with the question I asked then. And this is, I think, what, to me, time is. If you need a $100 bill in your hand right now, or want one in your hand right now and manifest it, is that any less real than the fact that tomorrow your mom's going to come and hand you a $100 bill in your hand? Just hand you $100. I just wanted to give you some money. I miss you. Is that dollar I want yesterday any less real, the one I imagined? Is it any less real than the one I got tomorrow? Is that one not real? The one tomorrow? So when I'm imagining the dollar now is my point. Is the fact that I'm getting one tomorrow not real to you, or is it real? Does that qualify as real? Because a lot of people try to say what's happening right now is real, but if I know I'm going to get a paycheck at the end of the week, but I don't have the money right now, right now I don't have it, but is that money less real? Like that, I have money coming. There will be in a number of fourth dimensional steps a day where money happens. Or mom's going to come and hand you that $100 bill tomorrow because you obviously didn't instantly manifest. You're like, $100 bill. Crap, it wasn't there. Okay. Well, I'll probably get one. So in my mind, it's not an issue of the fact that I don't see it in my hand right now makes it less real that tomorrow I'm getting one. That's where the fourth dimension comes in. Sequence of steps. Something's going to happen. I'm probably going to take a shower. I'll probably have lunch. Might go run some errands, maybe go to the gym, and then I'll make dinner, and then I'll go to bed, and then I'll wake up tomorrow and maybe watch some TV, and then ding dong, oh, it's my mom here to hand me $100. Might have some stuff happen in between here and there. Maybe I'll give mom a hug, probably a good idea. She gave me money. She bought my affections for the day. I'm just really milking this example. But that being said, I think it's a good idea to keep in mind that I think a lot of us come from manifesting from a little more of a kind of separated place. It's here in this weird place that I'll never see unless I do the right mumbo jumbo or move my hands just right. And then all of a sudden my whole life creates itself in a great, fantastic way. So as I'd frequently say, I would end the video right there and go, dang, radio style, with that whole kind of like thing. But now we're going straight, like, if you guys have any questions, then I think we are going to start getting into that. So I'm going to scroll up here a little bit and just kind of start freaking down. Maybe saying hi to people too. Hopefully my stuff made sense. I don't know, it's a little weird, a little esoteric, but Goddard, he inspires. I've just been grabbing stuff. It's just been so fun. Been enjoying it. Jacqueline, good morning, Dan. That's hello. Greetings from Houston. I was just out in San Antonio last week. For any of you that wondered why I was not a little less available. I was in San Antonio for work, so had to pre-record a couple shows, in fact. Anyway, Mart team, awesome. Welcome, buddy. Thank you for your very cool. Nice. Shannon DeMarco, there you go. Hello. Open third eye for manifesting if you want easy. Yeah, without a doubt, manifesting third eye stuff. I love that. What is that, sixth chakra? So yeah, totally into the goodies of that. Hello from India. Hello. Michael, nice to see you. Autumn Beauty, a cup of tea, Kit Kats, and Live Dan. What's a Kit Kat? And here in the States, it's candy, so I don't believe that's what you're eating. That's got to be some sort of cool, like a crumpet or some sort of like thing I don't generally eat anyways. I'm curious. Autumn, if you, at some point, I'd be curious if you tell me what a Kit Kat is, or anybody for that matter. Hello, Jonathan. Hello. Thank you so much for your videos. You're awesome. Thank you. Yummy. Ready? Bug and a flea. You're back. It's good to see you. It's Tuesday. Happy Tuesday. Tuesday? I don't think it's Tuesday where you're at, unless you're literally living in the future. That's very cool. But it's Saturday here, and there's no way you can be more than a day away from me. So I'm thinking, but that's awesome. I like you, buddy. Rio Grande Valley, South Texas. Hey now. Okay, very cool. Or yeehaw, or hello. No, what would you say? Y'all, I don't know what the hell. I'm sorry. I'm trying to make up some Texan right now. I ain't got none to make up in 4 years. Yins. Luis, hearts back to you, Darius. Georgis? I don't know. Past don't exist, just the illusion. Huh. Okay, well, I don't necessarily buy into that. The future doesn't quite exist yet. Past isn't really here anymore. You can't change it, though. It's kind of like you weren't there. It's like you've already traveled past that city. It's too far in the back to go back to. Sometimes it's more, can we create something similar in the future? Princess of Egypt, hello. Lisa Marie, hello from London. Nice on Turn Your Magic On. Hello, Dan. What do you think about the time lag? I heard somebody saying that there is no time lag. So it gives me anxiety because if you imagine something, it does not happen instantly, right? So you got more than you think you did something wrong and nonstop and get track. So yeah, like that's the thing I find is there's a lot of people that read stuff that suggests that you can do things a certain way. And I agree. Like I've said, there's been cases where manifesting instantly happens. There's been cases where people have won the lotto, right? There's cases where you can do that thing in a very quick way. But for most of us, and I think a lot of us will attest, in most cases when any manifestings happen, probably 85, 90% of the time plus, that things happen in their moments. To say there's no such thing as time is fun. I mean, they've given it its own certain dimension, and they kind of graph according to it. When you fly rockets, you have to take it into account because the moon's not going to be exactly where you think it's going to be in a day and a half from now than where it is right now. So there's a lot of things that time plays into. And to say it doesn't exist is, I think, kind of not really looking at how life happens for us. We tend to experience life through moments to moments. Again, it's my kind of take on things. But again, from how many times things have happened instantly to how many times things have happened within a number of steps, series of dots till the moment is experienced, is been greatly outnumbered than the times where it's been instant. Hugely so. So people can say whatever they want. Yeah, sure, you can manifest instantly. Absolutely. But it's better to kind of consider the fact that there's probably going to be an aspect of steps, moments, experiences that are going to happen to get you from A to Z. If it's literally a step from A to B, like I want to manifest bumping into somebody, literally they could be like someone bumps into your car and you're like, what? Oh, crap, that's him. No way. Like, can happen for sure. But A to Z, it's a lot of steps, and you can't skip steps. The example I would want to give is you have a child, right? Imagine how you'd feel if you ended up with a child that was 18, right? Like they popped out of you and bam, they were 18. They're like, so I want money and a car and you need to pay for my college. And you're like, whoa, where were all the good times? Where was all the fun stuff? Where was mama for the first time? Where was nursing and all this stuff? I'm not a mom. I'm assuming there's a lot of things about all that, right? Like bonding and all that stuff that a man doesn't understand, right? But where was all that? Now I get stuck with this 18-year-old needy old, wants new clothes. You skip all the fun. You don't go A to Z. You go A to B to C to D to E to F. Or if it's like Spanish, A, B, C, D, E, F. Right? Anyway, you get into all sorts of extra letters and other alphabets. But ours, we have 26. 26 steps in the alphabet I'm speaking from. So hopefully that helps. Hopefully that helps get your magic turned back on. Alia Comics, is it possible to manifest, let's say, skill sets such as drawing and rapidity become better through the skill set given? Yes, practice makes perfect, as they say. People want to say manifesting that, sure. But again, sequence of steps. You're not going to get ever good at playing the guitar overnight doing law of attraction. You want to get good at playing the guitar? You're going to manifest a guitar. You're going to manifest time playing it, and then you will get better at it. You talk to anybody that's a guitar player, they didn't just, like some people are natural prodigies that are oddly good very quickly, but you don't just generally pick up a guitar and just be like you're Eddie Van Halen or Joe Bonamassa or I don't know, there's other good guitarists, Hendrix, right? There's a lot of great, really awesome guitarists that are just insanely good. I mean, Bonamassa was like, I think 13 when he opened for, I'm forgetting his name, he opened for B.B. King. Huge. This kid was 13. And he's like playing for B.B. King in front, like incredible. So anyway, I think it is possible, but generally speaking, it's still going to require steps, effort. Things are going to happen. You're not going to go like just wake up tomorrow and instantly be the best drawer ever. You can inspire yourself and become much better through skills, practice, envisioning it, and certainly law of attraction can help turn that even on better for you, without a doubt. But it's still going to get you into rapidity, like you said, and doing more of it, and practice makes perfect. And that's really how any skill set goes. The more you do it, the better you get, period. No matter how good you are when you start, you're going to be better tomorrow if you keep doing it. It's just how it works. It's just the reality of life. Your love story on fire, Dan, and all. Hello. Would you discuss ignoring the current reality as not to reinfect ourselves? Well, the way I always look at it is, all right, do me a favor. Here's the thing I like to say. Your love story on fire. What I want you to do, since you're a fire person, I want to go to the opposite for a second. Like ice cubes, right? Like, let's think of ice cube. I don't know, some of you like maybe like crushed ice. Maybe first thing you thought of was crushed ice when I said ice cube. Or maybe the first thing you thought was like a cube of ice. Maybe some of you had one of those old-fashioned freezers where you got a block ice, right? But when you say ice cube, you think about ice, right? Or maybe some of you thought about the rapper, right? Ice Cube, the dude from 2 Live Crew or whatever, right? Like maybe that's who you thought of. But when I said ice cube, each and every one of you thought of an ice cube. That's how you do it. You don't want to think about something, then don't think about it. Think about something else. That's how you don't reinfect yourself. You can't not do something. You can't not do something. You can't. How do I not do that? You can't. That's impossible. What can you do? You can do what you do. What you're doing, you're doing. You can't not do something. I don't want to look right. I just did it. You look left. That's how you not look right. So and I'm not trying to be a smart aleck. I'm just, being me, and hopefully that's okay. But yeah, that's how you do it. You just don't focus on the freaking thing that you keep noticing is there. Stop. What are you creating? You going to have $100 in your hand tomorrow? Is that you want to just focus on the fact that you don't right now? I don't have one right now. Tomorrow I'm going to have one. But, oh, man. Right now, I don't have a $100 bill in my hand. Man, that sucks. Why can't well, tomorrow I'm going to have one. Yeah, I know, but hang on. I don't care about tomorrow. Hang on. Come on. Work with me here. Help me out, people. I love it. All right. Miss Hill, you're back. I love it. Let's see. And why do you, all your messages, you're retracting a bunch of stuff. Interesting. All right. Love on Fire. Thank you. Hi, Mart team. Bug Flea. Expect that at some point my SP will stay overnight, so I'm trying new breakfast recipes. There you go. That's a good way that's living in the end. I like that. Very cool. Very cool. In fact, that's sequence of steps, right? When you share what, yeah, that's awesome. I like that. I love to cook too. Good on you. DJ, what's up, brother? Dan, you are a star. No, you're the DJ. I'm just Dan. I've ordered Neville Goddard books, and I can wait. Yeah, they're awesome. And by the way, I've said it before. You can find the link in my videos, but I'm not trying to. I get a small, like a penny, if you click my link and buy it. But for those of you not in the United States, I don't think it works. But it's Amazon. But anyway, this book is awesome. It's got all these books in it. See all these? All these books are in one book. I don't know how close I can get. There you go, really close. See that? It's all jacked up. That's blurry as hell, but whatever. So yeah, great book. All you guys love it. If you want to see the name of it, the link, you can buy it wherever you want. But yeah, I get like a penny if you buy it from my link. Hello, Oliver. Just because I saw every second starts like your Amazon example, but that's so awesome. Some people love to talk about stuff that I shouldn't say on the air, so that's fantastic. And then you talk about living in 5D, which is, yeah, you got all sorts of good stuff going on there, buddy. Be happy. The Earth does not orbit the sun. We do not live on the outside of the spinning ball. Okay, flat Earth people, cool. I've actually listened and read a lot of the flat Earth stuff, but yeah, I mean, if that's what you want to think, that's cool. Yeah, go ahead. Love, living, peach, dream. Hello. To be clear, you teach that we cannot manifest any SP. When you say that, but that's not true, and that this is a good thing. I didn't say you cannot manifest any SP, did I, guys? I don't believe that ever came out of my mouth. So, no. Sometimes things happen in life. So, there you go. I think that's true, even though I don't know what you're saying. So, but yeah, it's awesome. Autumn beauty, being happy in the present moment is so important. Oh, it's so true, though. We need to trust in the process and letting go of the time. That was kind of where I was saying if I know the $100 is coming tomorrow, right? Like, I don't worry about it, right? I'm having a good day. I'm going to go do other things. And then, tomorrow after watching TV, I'm going to get my $100. Like, all right, it's cool. It's happening. I mean, granted, it's a sort of a crummy example. There might be a couple steps. Maybe you actually got to go buy a guitar and play it a few times. And, then maybe you start to learn how to play or whatever. Porky's Podcast. Nice. That was actually such a great movie when I was a child, just because it was so horribly graphic for me being a young male. It was fantastic. Wow, I just skipped by a bunch of stuff. All right, well, whatever. We'll let that happen. Kit Kats are chocolate biscuits. Oh, really good. Okay, so it's okay. It's basically the same thing. I guess that's what they're naming them after. They're probably different when you get them out there, but that's awesome. Dan, you hit home. Funny thing, I once worked in Alberta, Canada. Got fired October 2014. Now I live in California. Hey, what's up, AI? That's awesome. Probably up there with all the other AI computers. Finally came in and said he stopped speaking to me after an argument. It's been 4 weeks. I would never thought he'd do this again. I said I didn't want to speak to him and for him not to call me. And so he did that. He gave you your desire, and that wasn't what you wanted, was it? So yeah, what did we do that maybe wasn't a good idea? What did we maybe do? And what could we do better next time? Because again, you're kind of got the sound to it like I didn't do anything wrong. I was like, well, you told someone not to call you back. And wow, today, like, you can get harassment charges on you and stuff. If someone says, don't call me, and you keep calling them, not a good idea. So anyway, I would consider changing your approach maybe. That might work a little better for you. I don't even know how to say BZHZJ. Hey, my name is actually Rick. Well, that I can say. And I just want to say thanks because I was an active addict and you've really been helpful. Oh, man. Really? Helping you stay off heroin? Wow. Dude, thanks, Rick. That's, wow, I bet you know. Wow. That's about freaking awesome. I think that's Jackal, but you got a 4 there, so Jackal. Hey, what is a good and fun daily habit you would suggest to enjoy the process of manifesting? Well, fun. I mean, that's a great question. For me, having multiple things going on at the same time, but I think just enjoying life is the secret, and knowing that things are being created and happening in the process. And as I put efforts towards them, there's this number of steps that I just continue to take until the day I can't take any more steps. So I feel like honestly everything we learn is for that very last thing we learn right before we decide that, yeah, I'm going to pass over to the other side. So I believe it's just this sequence of steps, and by enjoying life in general, I mean, I enjoy my job. I love my job. I love this YouTube stuff. This is a lot of fun. I enjoy all you guys. Even the teeny tiny percentage of people that say some rather oddly weird stuff. I love you guys, man. It's awesome. That's the part of doing all this. So it's a lot of fun. So my recommendation is to actually love life. Be passionate about life. Live, love, eat, right? All these crazy, like Emerald, I think he said that, right? Just do all these crazy, but enjoy it. Like, this is a fun experience. It's kind of like, manifesting is kind of like controlling a boat, right? Like a big boat or whatever. If I'm traveling across the ocean, maybe, I'm thinking old, like you got a rudder or a big wheel, right? But you're controlling the boat. But ultimately, you're at the mercy of Mother Nature. You're at the mercy of the world around you. You can't control the weather. You can't control what waves happen. You can't control, some of the things that you can't control. But by knowing that I'm controlling the direction I'm heading, and understanding that things happening to me right now are part of this journey, rather than things to be all upset about, I've found it makes it easier for me. So that's kind of, I guess, how I approach it. But I don't have like some like fancy little roll the dice Yahtzee or think positive thoughts or say all people are good people, or right. I don't have some sort of cool thing like that. I apologize. For me, it's been more that issue of learning to love life. Angel V 111, nice to see you again. If you feel sad about a third party, just say to yourself, he is practicing his skill. Wink. I like that. Yeah, so you can be in the best wishes. I agree with that. Like if something bad's going on, kind of trying to see it in the light of what it is. And to the person up above, if there's some changes that maybe we should make inside ourselves, or acknowledge that what we said wasn't cool, even though we just feel like they should be okay with it. Like, well, that's not fair to other people, right? Like, do unto others as you would have done to you. What if someone said, don't ever call me again, I don't want to talk to you? Like, that wouldn't feel good, right? So doing that to another is not cool. And if you guys are having issues communicating, we should talk, right? So anyway, Rick, that's awesome. How do I stop my neg thoughts from knocking pops? I don't know, because I'm having a hard time reading your question. How do I stop neg thoughts from knocking POS thoughts out? Because I really am getting better with the positive thoughts staying, but occasionally it's difficult. I'm not a psychologist, right? So if you need professional advice, do it. I have to say that, right? But for me, I went through depression a couple times in my life, and a couple at least serious times. I've been sad and bummed, few, but like bad. And for me, it was an issue of focusing on the things that weren't happening the way I wanted them to yet. And I have found that when you focus on what isn't working, one, you create more of what isn't working. Two, you focus on stuff that sucks. So that's your experience just all the time, just looking at stuff that sucks. And it tends to bum you out. So I've found by not doing that, by letting go of those things, by trying to focus on something, puppy dogs, rainbows, I don't have something silly that you can do. For me, it's music. It's always been music. I can listen to music and pretty much alter my mood based off the music I listen to. And I have a pretty good collection. So it's not even like I could lose the internet and I'd still be able to listen to music. Like I promise, I got that covered. So it's just one of those things where we all need to have our own go-to happy place. Like Peter Pan, you've got to have your bag of marbles. I don't know if you've seen the movie, but it's a great reference if you've seen it. Right? You have to have your happy thoughts. You have to. Or else there are going to be times in life that will challenge you. It's just how life is, and it will challenge you. So that bag of marbles, that happy thought, that great song, that dance you do, that walk in nature, that meditation, that yoga, that whatever, kicking a puppy. Kidding. I would never do that. I just say it because I think it's funny. Like, it's horrible. Like, I love animals and I love dogs and puppies. Like, they can just kiss your face. It's like, just lick me. It's fine. I don't care. You got puppy face. Anywho, that was probably horrible to say. I shouldn't say it. Whatever. Lisa Marie. Everyone should watch absolutely anything with Simon Pegg. Sure. There's a movie where he gets the ability to manifest instantly. Yeah. And it will make you think why it's important to be specific. You're so right, because you will screw up so much stuff. And then think about the times we actually get negative. Great point, Lisa Marie. That's awesome to see your name, by the way. It's been a while. But yeah, you'd be amazed some of the horrible stuff we'd manifest because of our insecurities, right? All of a sudden you're like, he's probably cheating on me. Bam, you just manifested that instantly. Right? Like, think of all the things we say and do and think and entertain that if it happened instantly, oh my God, how often and strict are you on your thinking and what you think about? I mean, that's why instant manifestation is also not happening. It's a very good point you bring up, is most of us are by no means remotely close to structured enough in our own thoughts and controlling our thoughts to be able to manifest instantly. Because manifestation is not something you turn on and then turn off when you're done doing the technique. Manifestation is constantly happening. I mean, back to the point of what I was talking about at the beginning of this video. It has to do with your attitude. It has to do with who you are, what you are. And that changes through our lives and can change depending on what's happening. But that's what really helps do the creating. So anyway, love it. Yeah, and if we weren't ready, oh my gosh, I've had plenty of times where I'm like, thank God I don't manifest instantly. Be More Baby 76. SP texts me in April. I hope that's your year, because that would be funny. April, he missed me. Hey, that's good to hear. Then didn't hear from him until June when we hung out. That's cool. He thanked me for hanging out with him. Haven't heard from him since June. Trying to convince myself this is good. Have you reached out to him at all? Be More Baby 76? Or are you just waiting for him to reach out to you? Curious there. Because it's just funny that both situations they seem to leave this hole like you doing anything. And if I'm a guy and reaching out and kind of goes okay, but I'm not really sure how far to take it, and then I don't get any sort of reciprocation, I kind of assume it's not working. That's sort of how I handle it as a guy, working through trying to manifest somebody, or, being in that sort of place. The best, with lots of numbers. When it comes to wealth, are specifics necessary, or is it enough to hold and feel the feeling of wealth to receive more of it? It's the feeling of wealth when it comes to wealth. Wealth is kind of fun. It's an issue of really getting yourself to the place where you realize that abundance is everywhere, first off, because a lot of people have very limited thoughts. I can only make so much money per hour, or I can only, right? And if you're making $10 an hour right now, it's very hard to instantly jump to $100 an hour, but there are places where you can. I mean, you could be an artist maybe, right? Or you could be a musician and just suddenly say, I'm going to start doing gigs. Well, now you got paid $100 an hour or more, right? But there are a lot of things you can do when it comes to making more money. And I always have recommended experiencing hanging out with wealthy people. It's something that I do. I've got a restaurant that I kind of now go to once a week where it's a bit more of a high society crowd. And it's actually hanging out with people like that and seeing the things they talk about and experiencing life from that standpoint. And the restaurant itself is actually amazing. So kind of tasting life is through the eyes of wealth can help a lot. So maybe even seeing nicer houses, driving through those neighborhoods, like deciding which one you'd be stoked with, right? Maybe test driving a much nicer car, maybe not too crazy nice, right? Like, I don't think you could just drive up in a clunker and be like, yeah, I want to try that Jaguar. And they'd be like, yeah, right, sorry, no, right? But again, it's one of those things where you can try to start to look towards what it would be like to have more money. What would I do with my life? Where would I be living? What kind of car am I driving? Do I got those fancy driving gloves on? Like, whatever, all that good stuff that comes from. Great question. Lisa Marie, I had multiple $100 bills only 2 weeks ago. I am wealthy. You're awesome on that. Hello, Kimberkiss. I gotta get that. Awesome. Oh, shucks, just jumped a little more. Okay. The Stillness Kink 24. I don't know. It's a weird name. I can't stop perpetuating my SP's third party. He keeps going on dating apps since we aren't together in this moment right now. So right off the bat, I mean, I hate to say it, but it's all I got. So we create from where we are, right? And you've got a very strong belief that you can't seem to do this. And so you keep thinking about it. You keep doing the same behaviors, keep doing the same thing over and over with the hopes of a different outcome. But you believe you can't. Problem is, if you believe you can, if you believe you actually do have the power to control your thoughts, if you believe you have the ability to focus on something else, if you believe you have that bag of marbles, that happy thoughts, that way to somehow pull you away from looking at that thing. Ice cube. What? Oh, ice cubes. Yeah, those are cool. You put them in drinks. Right? You just changed your mind. If we can figure out a way to get ourselves to think differently, you'd be amazed at what you can do in these types of moments. So, as I keep saying, the thing, you can't not do something, so you can't not think about third party, can't not think about third party, can't not think about third party, can't stop thinking about that. I need to stop thinking. That's probably one thing you say too. I've done this a lot, especially when going to the gym. It's a phrase I catch myself saying day after day after day. It's just one I'll share really quick because I do this, and I'm getting better at catching myself when I do it, like the first or second time, but I'll say, I need to go to the gym. Then the next day comes, I need to go to the gym. I need to go to the gym. Guess what keeps not happening? I don't go to the gym because I need to. That's why. Because I need to get rid of the third party. I need to stop thinking about them. I need to stop doing this. I need to stop. Yeah, you're right. And you're going to continue to create that happening, so you need to stop. You're going to manifest a point where you'll be like, oh, I just have to go to the gym. Then it stops. It's the difference. It's the best example I got. Hopefully that helps. Jason M.I. If you visualize and then just act, doesn't matter how you act without planning, will it manifest or do you have to plan? No, it's not a silly question. The way I'm understanding your question, Jason, is do you just visualize and then act? So it sounds like you're like, I'm going to visualize and then do something to make it happen. And that's not really how manifesting kind of works. The doing part of manifesting is really the whole, let's feel this thing like it's actually happening. Let's feel as though the wish is fulfilled. Let's feel what it's like to have this thing that I desire. And then you kind of remain open to what comes to you. I mean, in some cases that might, like I said, if we've made mistakes in other relationships, how can I be a better boyfriend? Or how can I be a better employee? Or how can I be better at web design? Or how can I design better programs? Or how can I, be a better whatever? How can I find ways to increase my wealth? And by asking ourselves those questions, we start to set forth things that start to unfold before us. That's when the doing happens again. Like tomorrow you'll show up at Starbucks and that girl you're interested in happens to be there. Do something. Now's the time. Just say hi. Don't be creepy. Don't be like, I was thinking about you last night. That's not going to work. But yeah, hi, hey, how you doing? Just say hi, smile. It's amazing what just that will do. So again, things can unfold and begin to happen. And maybe you see him the next day. Maybe you see him the next day. Maybe eventually you just strike a conversation up with him because they happen to have something that's worthy of a conversation. Maybe a certain set of shoes. Maybe it's a magazine they're holding. Maybe it's a cool hat that has a team logo. Who knows? But something will be like, oh my God. And then you'll have a connection. Now you have some way to talk to them. Things just unfold. I can't, I'm just making up examples. I can't spell out every scenario under the sun. But essentially, like I've said before, when damage to the brain occurs, the brain's smart enough to create new neurons, new paths. When we make decisions about who we are and who we want to be, new neural networks form in our lives, new steps forward, as I was saying earlier in the video, if you guys were around there, I'm not sure. So I think that's a good way to kind of handle it. Azdazda. I just almost like trying to say the people's names more than anything. Oh, he's talking to someone else. I did all that for nothing. That hurts. Ouch. All right. Let's see. Thank you. A 2x4 finger chocolate bar from Nestle. Yes, Mr. Theo Mighty. But it happens to be a little slightly probably different thing, isn't it? In England, that's where the question came from. But I love where your mind's at. I've eaten those, as I said before. Lisa Marie's talking to people. The best. Also, what do you think about the accuracy of Oracle systems? You talking computers? Oracle? I can't talk about Oracle right now. I mean, that's not a good idea. That's certainly going to create problems. Let's see. Marcus Mills. I've worked with them, by the way, if that counts for anything. At least their databases. Well, that's, I think, yeah, what you mean by systems, hopefully. CryptoCat had a premonition dream of something not to do with me shortly before I started trying manifesting again. Maybe it was the full moon, but who knows? Okay. That's cool. I like dreams. I'm all about listening to them. I don't think always taking them like they're 100% premonition. Some people are very much more that way with dreams. Some people are less. Some people, have dreams once in a while and seldom remember them. Fall in all sorts of places, but try not to make huge assumptions about your dreams, but they're fun to see. I believe it's very much our subconscious talking to us, or our soul, or messages from other dimensions. So there's fun stuff contained in them for sure. But I don't just assume anything. I actually find that dreams tend to fall into a category, like about 5 categories, and I couldn't possibly list them right now. There's no way that's going to get pulled off. But I've done shows on it, I believe. My body has started to show signs of arthritis and rheumatics. I don't know how to say that word. How can I return to a state of good health throughout the day while I feel the pain in my joints and hands? It is hard to... Pain's a tough one. I mean, focusing obviously on what not on pain is certainly tough. There might be things you can do. I am not a doctor, so I don't know how to deal with arthritis. I'll be honest with you. And I've said before, I don't think law of attraction is like this thing I want to be 4 inches taller. Can I use law of attraction for that? I'm not going to tell you it's a good idea. I said you can do anything you want and believe in anything you want, sure. To stay on good health from the law of attraction standpoint or from Goddard, focus on what healthy thoughts are. And healthy people, no offense, I don't know how to get around pain. I really don't. So you got me here. You nailed me. But I don't. I don't know how to get around pain, because pain is a physical thing. But really, when I've been in it, the one thing I learned in martial arts, pain is artificial, and it really kind of is. It's neural network happening. It's, there's kind of ways to sort of work on trying to turn that off or get better at ignoring it, but it's still an experience. It's still your body telling you something's kind of sucky. I don't know about medications or if there's anything out there that helps. So frankly, I don't. But I do know that focusing on what healthy people do, like when you're healthy, you don't think about the fact that are my fingers going to start hurting today? Like that's not a thought you would have. You like healthy people, they tend to eat vitamins. They tend to eat healthy foods. They tend to go on walks. I know, and I'm not saying you can do any of these or all these. I don't know. I don't know what your situation is. But generally speaking, that is kind of how it works, is you do behaviors of healthy people, choices. They make healthy choices. When they think about being healthy, it's like, I probably shouldn't have that triple dip chocolate ice cream sandwich like that. I should probably eat a salad instead. That's what healthy people do. They don't necessarily go, I'm eating a salad because I don't want to get sick, or I'm eating a salad because I don't want to get cancer. Like people that tend to live that way tend to get cancer even though they ate salads, right? You eat salads because it's healthy. When you're thinking that's healthy thoughts, that's healthy living, that's healthy attitudes, that's being healthy. But like I said, I want to do this, so I don't do this. Yeah, you're going to do that and do this. You're going to do both. So you're going to eat cardboard for the rest of your life, and you're still going to end up sick, which is going to suck. So focus on the healthy. Focus on I'm doing this because this is good for me, because this is healthy for me, because this helps with my arthritis, right? Like, I don't know, that's kind of a way maybe to take a sort of baby step towards it. Like this helps with that. But that's a super tough question. And I almost feel like I spent like a lot of time on it. But yeah, I'm not perfect at this stuff. I'll try to see if I can do a show on that at some point. That's about all I got just out of my back orifice. The sunshine fee. You charge for the sunshine? Gosh, that's expensive. My body has started to, that was it. That was who I just talked to. That's rad. It's still expensive though. Meditate a lot. If you can't do that, do this every day. Sit quietly for 10 or 15 minutes without thinking anything. That's basically what meditating is, by the way, but that's fantastic. Miss Hill, what can you do to manifest your SP other than working on yourself? Like my SP, we're friends. We did date, but he didn't want a relationship, so I stopped intimacy. So like the person that you kind of are right now, for some reason, is attracted to this guy that doesn't want a relationship. You sure you don't maybe have some fears about relationships, or some fears that maybe you're going to get hurt if you totally invest into this, or maybe you're really busy and you're doing this, but you really don't have time for a relationship. Maybe you don't really have, I don't know, but do you kind of have this sort of thing in the back? Because I've done that a bunch. I've manifested people that can't be close to me a bunch in my life. So I don't know. That for me, that was oftentimes the case where I had little blockers up where I manifested specific people that couldn't be close to me, and I liked them a lot. And I then wanted to be close, but couldn't, because that was what I manifested. It's what I wanted from the get-go. And then I wanted to change them. But that's where the whole self-love thing comes in, is when you actually change that attitude generally you'll find you almost don't want them anymore. That's kind of generally what happens when you're attracted to someone that you're no longer attracted to because you've worked on yourself, and now all of a sudden you're attracted to this other gentleman, and he actually has time for you, and he does want a relationship, and he wants to get married and have kids and a family, and that, oh my God, that's what I want. So again, sometimes we manifest people because of where we're at that time, and then we try to use Neville Goddard's techniques to change them so they fit the mold we want them to be in, because what we manifested wasn't quite what we wanted. And I don't think that's right. I don't think that's the way to go. And I hear a lot of people ask questions that are similar. I'm not saying you are. I'm not saying everyone on this. I'm not saying that. But what I am saying is when you've manifested somebody that's very content on being who they are, and then you try to use law of attraction or Goddard techniques to change them, oftentimes they will resist because they're not wanting to do that. They're not interested in making that change. We want them to, but they don't. So they won't. And it gets reflected back onto ourselves. So kind of a way to look at that, and it's without looking at self-love. It's who we are is what manifests automatically, as we were saying earlier in this. And you might have come in a little late, but it's kind of how I see it. Cool. Let's see what else we got in here. All right. See if people keep asking questions. If not, if I can get to the bottom, we'll close it out. You can actually do one that's slightly shorter than normal. Go for a run, meditate, do something you enjoy. That's certainly a way to feel better. I hope that's not to the people that have arthritis, because I don't know if running is going to help you there. But yeah, exercise makes me feel better. Was it Quee or Key? Sean Gaines? I'm not even sure. Chinese. What's your opinion on successfully impressing your subconscious? Is it the point where you genuinely feel the emotion? What's your take? That's exactly what Goddard says, and I agree with him. So what he says is the conscious part of you thinks of something. You choose a thought. Now, you're either choosing of thinking of the thing you don't want to think about, or you're choosing to think of the thing you do want to think about. One way or the other, you're choosing your thoughts. And so you think of something, and then you think about it enough, and then you get kind of like an emotion about it. You kind of feel something, like maybe you're thinking about politics, and it gets you all fired up, right? Or maybe you're thinking about the person you care about, and it makes you feel love. Or maybe you think of a person that you've had an argument with recently, and you get very frustrated. Once that feeling happens, your subconscious is now impressed. It's very impressed with you. It's like, oh, that's quite cool. You just created a feeling. I like that. Good for you. I love you, man. And then they run out and make it happen. That's it. Done. You just sent out a little boo, boo, right? You just sent out a feeling shooter. Boo. I love being a dork. But yeah, that's basically what you're doing. So that's good times. I love being live. This is so much. I can just be more me because you guys are here listening. What are your thoughts on recreating people? Yeah, I don't like that. I'm going to say up front before I read any more. I'm just going to say I don't like that. So hopefully I don't lose you as a subscriber. You can bail out now. I'm sorry. Would it be better to accept people for how they are? Yes. Oh, thank you. I want to give you a hug. I love where this is going. Or do we keep trying and assuming them different? I feel that can keep us stuck. Absolutely. I was kind of just talking about that, and I was just probably already there when it happened. They have the choice to say no. People hate that. They're just you pushed out. They don't have a choice. Yeah, they have a choice. Like, am I you pushed out so you can make me do whatever you want? Really? No, you can't. I promise you can't. And I don't mean that in a bad way. I can't make you do things you don't want. You're not pushed out to me, and I'm not pushed out to you per se. But when we're in relationships and we project onto people or we assume things, that's us pushed out. What we assume pushes out into the real world. From that standpoint, yes. Trying to assume someone different, they still have a choice. Like a lady just hit me up recently that had someone in her family, Rick, that was on their kids on heroin, right? And they're trying to help how they can. And I was, trying to explain how a lot of people that have never been addicted to something really don't know what it's like to be addicted to something. And then they do a really poor job at trying to help. But the constant focus on it, the constant asking questions, the constant, where are you? What are you doing? Who are you hanging out with? You hanging out with that person? None of that helps. None of that helps. It promotes more of that bad behavior. So it depends who they are, one, and how we approach it. Now, I do think you can influence people for sure. And influence is very different than control. Control is an instant way to push someone away from you. I guarantee it. You can lead a horse to water. You cannot make a horse drink. Can't do it. Sorry. Don't care who you are. Can't. I don't care how good your manifesting skills are. You can't. It just maybe coincidentally took a drink when you said, take a drink. Like, that can happen. You can certainly talk to a horse and they can love you and you can have a relationship. I don't know. One of my old Jackie friends is on. She loves horses. But they, you can't affect them and influence them. But you can't make them. You can't just push its head down to the water. That's not going to happen. So the more we force, the more, it slips through your fingers. Like I say with sand, right? The more sand you try to squeeze, the more of it just falls out of your hand. You can't do it. Put your hand in a money jar and, take your fist and you can't get your hand out of the jar anymore. So you can only hold as much as you can hold. A lot of us, I think, just take too big a bite. There's a bunch of cliches just thrown at you like nobody's business. Kit Kat's back in there. Hi. What are your thoughts on... Oh, I just read yours. Nice. I'm so bad about losing where I was. And I love how Lisa Marie and Autumn Beauty are so in here talking to each other. And everyone else. You guys are the best. I was talking about actual oracles. Oh, oracles. Okay. What do I think of future tellers? That's actually... I'm glad you brought that up because that was a thing I was wanting to talk about. Like people... that go and see psychics, get tarot readings, all that. I'm into all that stuff, all right? I've I've done plenty of readings on myself. I've paid for readings on a few occasions. Definitely into that stuff. What I think really you're getting somebody that's reading where you're at right now. Thank you very much, BB. Thank you. That's awesomeness. What you're getting is someone who's reading you right now. You're getting somebody who's getting a feel for your energy at this moment. And at this moment, your future is likely this. Because again, we go back to choices, right? There's choices we're going to make, and choices are going to cause our future to unfold. And our belief and our attitude about what's happening in our life is also creating that pattern. So things are going to unfold. We're going to make choices, and this likely future will happen. I could go to a psychic and go, oh, I don't like that future at all, and change everything that I'm doing differently, or change everything I'm doing, and actually affect the future they saw. Doesn't mean their future's still going to happen. No, I made a change that guarantees it. Another way that this backfires on us, and it's another example of how we change what we're told from psychics, and they're getting a good read, right? So you could have a psychic that gives you a read right now, or oracle, whatever you want to call it, and they can say, oh, this person, they're going to be with you. I don't know why the oracle's suddenly got to have an accent of some kind that I have no idea what it is. But this person's going to be with you and forever, right? And you're like, wow, that's awesome. I love that person. So then the very next day you see that person and you walk up to him and you're like, hey, now, we're going to be together. An oracle just told me. And she's like, you are a freak. When what should have happened is you were going to walk up to her without the oracle telling you the future. You would have walked up to her tomorrow and she would have said, oh, hey, do you have a second? I wanted to chat with you about something over some coffee. Oh, yeah, that'd be awesome. Let's do that. That's what would have happened. But since the oracle talked to you, you walk up to her and you're like, hey, baby, you know what's going on? You know what's going down? Right? And all of a sudden she's like, freaky. And so we screw it up. I've seen that happen. I've done that. So a lot of it is at the moment. Here's where you are right now. You want to make changes? Change it. The future's not done. The future is not set. It's not guaranteed. We're going to choose it. We're going to make that happen. We are creating it constantly. The paintbrushes are out every day, and we paint tomorrow from a different set of brushes and colors than we do, what today was. So hopefully it helps. Okay. Been manifesting. Okay, so I don't even know how to say lots of X's in his name. Zalgs. Been manifesting a contest win for 3 years. Should I dare assume that this time will be the time I win? Also, my SP stopped talking to me. Well, that's all sorts of... Wow. So something kind of going on maybe. I don't know. I'm seeing a little something consistent here. You're putting a lot of faith on this this contest, and you want to win it. So if I was coaching you, and this would be like an email coaching even, this is kind of how those work when I do them, and I'm not trying to ask people to do that because I don't have that much time to do them, but this is what I would say. So been manifesting a contest win for 3 years. Should I continue to try to do this? Well, what's going on with this contest? Why a contest? Of all the ways that you could manifest whatever the heck it is that this contest gives you, why are you so desperately trying to manifest this contest? That seems weird to me. I don't mean you're weird. I mean that's strange. Is there something about this contest that you're actually trying to get from it? Is it a thing? Is it prestige? Is it fame? I don't know. I don't know what it is. I would work on that, like the why, and get yourself to that energy of being this thing that Maybe it doesn't have to come from the contest. It's like when people say, why can't I win the lotto? And I'm going to say, all right, let's just say here in California, we'll just make it an example. There's 40 million people in this state, okay? Of these 40 million people, I'd figure probably 5 million of them play that lottery every single time it happens. And every single time the lottery happens, well, oftentimes no one wins at all. And there's like, 2 drawings a week? We're just going to use that one. I think there's one, a Super Bowl, Powerball, whatever the hell it is. 2 times a week. So 2 times a week, someone may win. Someone, sometimes 2, sometimes 3. There's 5 million people playing it using law of attraction that want to win it right now. Well, 1 or 2 of you are going to win. That's just how many people win the lotto. Now, if you want wealth, why are you trying to win the lotto? You want wealth. That's what you want. You want to be wealthy. What would you do if you were wealthy? You're going to buy a nicer house? Okay, focus on that. Focus on the nicer house. Focus on the nicer car. Focus on what being wealthy is. Don't just go, I want to win the lotto because I want to have a bunch of money. What does that mean? A lot of people can't really comprehend what a bunch of money is. So I'm not sure what your contest is, but there's probably another way you can go about it. And then, just on top of that, you decide to say, and also, FYI, just thought I would mention, my SP dumped me yesterday. Yeah. That's not really like anything that's a big deal. I mean, I'm just throwing that in there like a little, hey, guess what? My SP dropped me. Yeah. So okay. So there's kind of like a whole, like I'd have to unpack that. Like, what's going on? Give me some details. Tell me what's going on. Right? And then I would be able to follow up. I'm not going to go any further with your story, so don't feel like you need to type it all in here, because I'm not going to even answer to it, because I think I've spent a lot of time on the issue. But I think that helps illustrate kind of that larger point of how a lot of us focus ourselves into a way it needs to happen. It has to happen this way. Why? Why are you limiting yourself so much? Of all the ways wealth can come, Lotto's like this teeny weeny sliver of a second hand on a clock of all the ways that you could possibly get wealth. I mean, I could give you money, I could find money, I could make money, I could create money, I could fall into a pile of money. Someone could drop a bag of money in front of my house from an airplane. Like, I can come up with a lot of different ways money can come to me. But you're saying, no. Of the millions of ways, no, it must be this way or no way. All right, well, that certainly limits your options. I will make you a lotto winner. You didn't say when. Might be 40 years from now. And I have had people say it needs to happen by this date. And then you just keep freaking out as you get closer and closer to the date. Why haven't I won? Why haven't I won? Why haven't I won? That just keeps the manifestation from happening. So again, a lot of things can come from it. It can get very crazy when we let ourselves focus exactly how the manifestation should. You want wealth, you want money. Don't just say, I want to win the lotto. Imagine being wealthy and watch what starts to happen. Money starts coming from all sorts of places. Suddenly you were in some weird lawsuit. You open up your mailbox. You're like, what the hell is this? I was about to shred it, and I open it up just to see. Because I do that, by the way. I open up every piece of mail, unless I'm for sure I see it every week because I know it's BS. But I open every piece of mail I don't recognize because I've gotten checks in the mail for stuff out of the blue. And it's just like, what the heck? Okay. Thanks for whatever. Like my title company. There's some lawsuit against them, and me and my brother, because we both were in this at the same time, I ended up with a check for $46. Not a lot of money, but a check for $46 magically showed up in my mailbox. Be wealthy, because I didn't say I had to win the lotto. In fact, I don't play the lotto at all. Like, every once in a while, I'll go buy a ticket, but I never buy more than that, and I don't play the lotto. It's not how I'm going to make my wealth is not accumulating from that avenue. Like I said, occasionally I'm open to it. Occasionally I'll buy a scratcher. So it's not like I never do it, so I'm open to it. It could be the one time, but that's not really how I think of it. So good. I love it. Love living peach dream. What do you think about people in our dreams? Do you believe they are really visiting us in the vibrational realm? I do, but love to hear your view. It depends, like kind of what I've said with dreams. Dreams come in a lot of forms. You can have dreams. I mean, it can be their higher selves, without a doubt. I think souls talk to each other all the time. Like, so right off the bat, like I've talked to a number of people on the other side. I've talked to people that are on this side with me. I know they hear me. I don't doubt that for a second. So I know we talk to each other. When they show up in our dreams, a lot of times it can represent a lot of things. It can represent fears. It can represent hopes and desires. It can represent things that are actually happening. It can actually be prophetic. So It can be them, yes. Do they consciously necessarily know? That's happened. There's a number of stories where people have dreamed about each other on the same night and actually knew about it and talked even about it and confirmed it. So without a doubt, I believe that happens. I don't think it happens all the time, though, where both people will consciously recognize, because I think maybe sometimes we lend a hand, right? Sometimes someone needs help getting that thing off the top shelf at the grocery store, and so I'll grab it and hand it to them, but I'm not going to go home and cook it for them, right? Like, sometimes they just need a helping hand. So, hopefully that helps. I don't kind of even know where I was going with that last part. I felt like it seemed to make sense at first. Cindy L. Carrasco. It's funny, there's a Melissa that has a very similar name. If you are dealing with pain, check out Dr. Joe Dispenza. Cool. Some other dude on YouTube, and he sells books, so he'll teach you how to deal with pain. I love that. That's awesome. Nicholas Zyfaris. Hi, Dan. Question. New listener, love your work. Well, thanks, man. Appreciate that. Welcome to the family, as I frequently say. What do you recommend if you have no experience of what you are trying to create due to limiting beliefs and experiences from childhood? That is an absolutely outstanding question. I sort of talked about it earlier, but what I do, what I have done, what I always recommend, what I think you would benefit from. Whatever it is that you're trying to accomplish, whatever it is. You want to be a better baseball player, you want to be better at marriage, you want to be a better lawyer, you want to be whatever it is that you're trying to accomplish, better at sailing, better at remote control cars, better at video games. What you do is you go to somebody that can demonstrate what it is that you want to be better at. They can show how that's done. You can talk to them. They're in person, or at least videos from people that have demonstrated it. Say you want to be an author, and maybe... Why am I drawing a blank? Stephen King, is doing YouTube videos on how to write. Check it out. Stephen King knows. Or people that have sold many, many, many books. Many books. I don't mean people that have sold like 100 copies or 1,000 copies of one book on Amazon. Like, that's good, but talk to someone that's sold hundreds of thousands of books. They know how to sell books. Someone that's sold 1,000 books does not know how to sell books. It is the people that have gotten further with it than that. So go to someone that demonstrates it. Go to someone that's actually got some sort of accolades and ask them questions. Talk to them. Be around them. Just see what it's like to be in their world. And you will find that you start to understand things that you don't currently understand. Like I've suggested with wealth. One of the things I do is I will go and hang out where wealthier people are at. Because you see it. I'll go to, I live here in Orange County, and someone commented the other time, South Coast Plaza is a mall where Saks Fifth Avenue and Neiman Marcus, right? All these super rich, awesome places where you could walk in and spend $15,000 on a suit, right? You could walk into Gucci or a Rolex shop, and I can look at oh my God, it's a deep sea is the Rolex I'm going to get, right? And I can just go and I can look at it. I've got a picture of it on my bathroom wall. That's one of the things I'm going to manifest. A little more of a long term. It's going to come, but it's been driving a lot of my wealth growth. A lot of growth has been happening too. Well, it's great. Love it. But it's a process. It's movements, right? And eventually I'll look at a $15,000 watch and be like, yeah, I'm buying that right now. So again, it's one of those things, but you can go and see it and experience it and look at it and go, God, it is beautiful. It is a beautiful watch. And why would you spend $15,000 on it? Because I'm going to manifest where I can, where I wouldn't worry about spending 15 grand on a watch. And you just make it kind of a thing that just you keep working towards and expand yourself and grow towards it. So hopefully that helps. All right, what else we got here? Where's the best place to live in LA? Nowhere. If you're talking about Los Angeles, do not live in the city. That's what I say, unless you're planning on being famous out there. But I hate that city. It's disgusting. No offense to anyone that lives there. Sorry, but I don't. I live in South Orange County. I would say any place outside of that city is fantastic. And don't live in San Francisco either. It's another horrible city right now. And I don't mean politically. I mean there's literally people that are homeless and there's nastiness all over. They don't seem to know how to deal with what's going on in the world. So that's my thoughts on Los Angeles. Burgundy Blue 111. Love it. That is precisely why I don't talk to psychics anymore. Oh, I have been told a multitude of things that never manifested. Your explanation is probably why. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate that. Purple Lava 77 Dan, he needs to change his focus. He is radiating rejection, or he doesn't believe that he's going to work. I am an empath, and he is just assuming nothing is going to work. Who, me? Okay. Well, thank you, empath. I appreciate that. Most people don't have to announce who they are. Just saying, because your actions tend to show it. I love listening your explanations. It expands my view on how I use Neville. That's awesome, Sunshine Fee. Jacqueline M., people want to win the lotto because it is the instant gratification. You are very right. You are 100% right on that. Yes, it is that instant gratification. It's the easy way. They see the easy path. It's just all I got to do is win the lotto, and then I'll have millions of dollars, and then all my worries go away. Problem is most people that have a lot of concerns and weirdnesses and problems in their life, they still win $1 million. Well, now they're just a millionaire with all sorts of problems and stuff and worries in their life because most of that stuff doesn't go away. So it is kind of how it plays out. Crypto Cat. The best 111 out of beauty. Okay, Yaulika. I have recently got married and I should be feeling great, but I'm not. My husband seems pessimistic, keeps repeating he hasn't achieved anything in life. How am I creating this experience? So I'm going to kind of go back to you attracted this gentleman, sure, and you wanted to marry him. I don't know, maybe you saw greatness in him. Maybe he was speaking greatness. Maybe he had hopes of grandeur, whatever. I would say if you entertain those thoughts with him, that's probably not helpful. Really, I think anyone that's like, woe is me, you're going to stay trapped in a woe is me forever. You're going to stay in that bad place. And really, what I try to do when I try to help people is, one, I ask, what would you like to accomplish? So I think in the case of your question that you're asking, he wants to be more far along in his career. So you know what he wants. So then when you guys talk about it, you can be more in the direction of, well, what are some things that we can do to help? Like, is his resume sucky? Like, I don't know what you know. I mean, maybe you can ask questions. How's your resume? Can I see it? Maybe we can splash it up. Like, let's get him thinking in the direction of improving, right? Let's not keep that pessimistic, oh, everything sucks. No, well, I don't know. How about, like, let's look at your resume real quick. Let's take a glance at it. Let's say, right? Like, let's get them thinking about it and be like, what kind of stuff do you like doing, honey? What do you want to do? What kind of work do you want? Maybe get online if you want to help and see if you can find companies that are, that are posting jobs that are similar. Maybe you also help. I mean, if it's a wife-husband thing, like, I'll go. If we need to move, I'll go with you. Like let them know that you believe in him, one, that you know he can help, right? And that he can give him, I mean, I don't know, 'cause it depends on the culture, but, depends. But go handle that appropriately. But that being said, right, I think trying to get him to focus on where he'd like to go and where you guys would like to go and how you love him and support him and all these things are going to go miles towards making a difference for him, even though ultimately it goes back to that, I can lead a horse to water, but I can't make it drink, but probably some of that pessimism. So I'm just saying. Endless Land, saying hi from Knoxville, Tennessee. I lived there. That was where I was a DJ, by the way. WIMZ, hey, Endless Lands, can you confirm that's an actual real radio station in Knoxville? 103.5, WIMZ, Knoxville's classic rock. Tell me that doesn't sound anything like what you're used to hearing. Yes, Endless Lands, that is so awesome that you're from there. It was years ago, so hopefully you don't know who I really was, because I was actually stupid enough to use my real name. I heard you mention that you used to live here. Yeah, you just found your channel. That's so rad. So yeah, hopefully you can chime in and say, yeah, dude, totally. WIMZ is 103.5. That's where Dan worked. That's craziness. Lisa Marie, you could win the lotto. A friend of mine was. Yeah, you certainly can. I'm not trying to be negative. Well, I'm not. I know people want to hear it that way. Sorry. Bam. People going back and forth. Blob the Blob. Let's see if I skipped anyone. It always jumps. Cool, Nick, for answering your question. That's awesome. Yeah, I didn't skip it too much. Cool, blah, blah, blah. Dan, hi, Todd. You talked about fear a lot, but more in a fear of failure sense. Could you please talk about existential fear, like the fear of death? Oh, wow. Or something happened to you or your family. Well, fearing something happening to your family is something that helps create things happening to your family, but only if that's part of their soul contract. Fear of death is generally, in my mind, has been at least not coming to terms with what you believe is in the afterlife. I can't answer that question for you. I've certainly got my own beliefs. I definitely believe we carry on to the other side for sure. I definitely believe I've talked to relatives of mine on the other side. My mom passed away this year in January, and I've talked to her a number of times, and I know it's her talking back to me. How do I know? I can't prove it to you. I'll never be able to prove it to anybody else. But I know it's her. I can feel her. There's one time where she was actually physically affecting me in a weird way that it doesn't matter. So, unfortunately, and I'll be honest, when I was 12, roughly, I had very, very nasty, horrible feelings about death and the fear of death and really like just lack of understanding of it. The idea, I was brought up Catholic, so the idea that I could possibly screw up and end up in a horrible place for the rest of my life, like these are some pretty scary thoughts for me as a child. And I will say, as I've grown spiritually and as I've grown just in my understanding, I think, of how energy works, and how really close relatives of mine, I mean, my grandpa passed. He was really the first one I had an experience with. I was in high school. I want to say it was my sophomore year when my grandmother died. So maybe I was college. Maybe it was senior year or freshman year in college that he passed away. But I had a major experience with him after, and that changed my life forever. Like he physically touched me, and like I felt it when it happened, and I saw him, and like it was pretty crazy. So I've got a very solid understanding of what happens to us after we die. I can't prove it to anyone, and I wouldn't try to really, because I don't believe that's right to do. But that's my understanding of it, and I can share that with you, and hopefully that helps. But yeah, if you're scared of something you don't understand, which I did in my last video, by the way, if you listen to it, that was one of them, is fear of the things we don't understand. That would be the esoteric stuff, not just not having what we manifest. So if you look at my live video I did last week, I would say just listen like the first 15, 20 minutes of it. You'd probably get a really good taste into what my thoughts on are. That I think I talked into it pretty good. Oh, cool. Thank you, Purple Eva. I thought you were like all mad with me, so I really, really appreciate you confirming that. I thought you were saying I was like, wow, that's harsh. So thank you. I appreciate that. That was very sweet. Thank you for confirming, or well, whatever. I guess that's what happened. That's sad. Huh. Anyway, for the psychs out there, the psych people out there, like Dan just did a oops. Vatty, can I manifest something in the middle of planting the seed and imagining the end? For instance, after planting the seed of marrying my BF, can I manifest specific dates and things I want from him? Wow. I don't like specific dates. The rest of that, yeah. I could spend a lot of time on just the way that's worded. But that being said, I don't like specific dates. And here's why. Everyone can say whatever they want, and for all the people that disagree, that's fine. I mean, I'm not going to argue it. But here's why I've found it doesn't work. Here's why I've seen that it doesn't work. It can work in certain small percentages of the time, without a doubt. Here's why most of the time it is difficult when you put a timeline or a deadline on things, is as you start to approach it. First off, you're saying it needs to be by this date. So I think already off the bat, a lot of times you're almost saying, hopefully that's the day it's going to happen or whatever. But I mean, that in our mind, we have this very fixed day in our mind, like this day out here, four-dimensionally further away from now, this day things will happen. And as you get closer and closer to it, you will find that you pay a lot of attention to how you don't have it right now and how it's getting closer to the date, and it starts to freak you out. And for any of us that kind of know law of attraction stuff, the more you get freaked out about something, the more energy you're putting, the more you impress your subconscious, the more you're pushing this horrible stuff out into the universe. And guess what? You're going to get more of that crap. Right? It's the same thing I was kind of saying. I don't know if you were here or not, but I need to go to the gym. I do this sometimes, and that's how I catch myself like going, just go. But I'll say it like, I need to go to the gym today. And then the following day, I didn't go to the gym yesterday. And then I'll say it again. I need to go to the gym today. And then the following day, I'm like, how about I'm going to the gym today? And guess what I do? I end up in the gym, oddly. First 2 days didn't work for crap. So yeah, that's kind of the approach I take with it. And it's done me well. So hopefully that helps. I don't know why this one, did you cuss or something? I don't know why this one's, okay. Oh God. So changing physical size is something that I have a hard time with, John V. I don't know. I guess you could try to manifest ways of being taller and shorter. Being shorter, I don't recommend, because I know some of the ways the universe can make that happen. Happened with my father. He had 2 disc fuse. I've known a couple people that have had back surgery and literally lost height. I know as we get older, we tend to shrink. So kind of be careful what you wish for when it comes to, I want to be 2 inches shorter. That might come at an expense that you didn't think was worth it, and something to think about. Maybe if they can't fit in the airplane, maybe there's a better place for you to consider. Maybe there's another way you can fulfill a dream that's pretty awesome, that's similar. I don't know. I wanted to be a pilot. I was just talking about this with someone today. I wanted to be a pilot when I was younger, and I got glasses my sophomore year in high school. Freaking glasses. And it got to the point where I couldn't read the board. I couldn't see freaking 30 feet in front of me. And I had to get glasses. And I wanted to be a pilot. I wanted to go to Embry-Riddle. I was going to be a pilot, and I was going to fly, and I was going to be the happiest man on earth. I haven't tried to use law of attraction to fix my eyes. Sorry, I haven't tried. I don't know. I'm not sure I'm going to, frankly. It's part of who I am. I've had glasses for 30 some odd years, 31 years. I've had them a long time. So whatever. It is who we are. I think sometimes trying to alter things. I mean, I could go and get LASIK, so that's one way I could manifest better eyes. So don't get me wrong, except I've known a lot of people that have done it, and 5, 6 years later, 10 years later, their eyes are like they're wearing readers and stuff. It's like, well, it doesn't seem like it works very long. And they're like, no, it's just temporary. I'm like, well, I don't want to do that. That sounds crazy. I'd like them just to stay kind of unaltered by man, because they were made pretty good by the higher self, right? So anyway, Bonnie Garcia, I saw your letting go vid from a while back, and I'm letting go today. I'm writing it all down, but I know my SP will come sometime. For now, I'm just going to stop worrying and date others. Well, that's a good, yeah, I mean, if that feels right to do, it feels right to do. Again, self-love, worrying on yourself, the attitude we have right now, sometimes that whole letting go thing just creates a different attitude for a few days, and it's very interesting what we experience when we do that. It's what Goddard was talking about earlier in this video. I don't know how to prove it to people other than say, try it. But sometimes getting people to try stuff is challenging. We influence others. I can't make people do stuff. So, but good for you. Purple Love 7. I'm probably saying that right. Purple Love 7. Purple Love. Oh, let me say it right. Purple Love 77. Now I can kind of say it. Yeah, win the lotto and all the time. Lotto, and then they have proven that just by assuming you will win, you increase your chances of winning. Well, that's probably true as well. Hey, if you guys want to win the lotto, man, win the lotto. I'll stop talking about it. One thing that can help shift the not believing is listening to those who have won the lotto. Sure. I actually, by the way, and this is just to throw out there, early on when I worked at a convenience store when I was probably 19 is when I started there. I was 21, I think. Anyway, whatever. I was 19. That being said, the owners of that liquor store won the lotto. Been around people that have won the lotto, by the way. Just saying. I know it's possible. I've also met millions of people that want to win the lotto. Just saying. So anyway. Sorry to hear about your mom. It's okay. I have my grandmother and have her give me messages through dreams. I know it's real. Yeah, you can do it while you're awake too, girl at the beach. Just saying. Dan, thoughts on we create everything. If that's true, how does a young, innocent child create abuse? We create everything we experience. So I want to say that for you. Now, if you experience that abused child, well, you're playing a different role in that whole thing. But we create everything we experience. We put on whatever glasses we want to filter out the world the way we want. Now, did that abused child create that? No, but if you talk to a lot of spiritual circles and you talk to anybody that kind of has read a lot of stuff about how maybe we live multiple times, I don't want to get into crazy stuff because I would really start dividing the audience quickly. But there's a lot of people that suggest that sometimes we choose to come into lives to help fulfill roles for other souls that we love very dearly in our soul family. And so sometimes we do choose to come in and experience maybe what might seem oddly atrocious, but that soul kind of gets like a certain level of understanding from it. But more importantly, the person that's doing the abuse, when they reevaluate their life after they've passed and they understand the pain from the self they caused it to, when they understand what they've done, when they rationalize that within themselves, when they feel the pain, like that is why it happens. But we live in a place where it's allowed to a degree, but from what I understand, and again, God, I'm so far off on crazy stuff right now, it's the shift of the dimensions of this planet. Like this planet's changing, and certain things that were dark energies are not being allowed anymore, and they're being shed from the planet. And we're kind of in this process right now. So, I mean, it's a great question, but yeah, you don't create abuse in the world. It's not you that's created the fact that others out there have been abused. If you've been abused, then you are a part of that in a different way. But the fact that others are abused and you haven't, well, you're not even connected to it. So I don't believe you had anything to do with it. And you're not seeing it in front of you, so your filter doesn't contain it. If you were seeing it in front of you, again, it would be kind of more relative to where you're at. Bob Blob the Blob, I would love to hear your ideas on death and the afterlife if you want to share them. I'd like to. Maybe I'll do a show on that. I just think it's too long a topic to talk about. I've got some I've been studying death since I was very young. I did my senior year, I did a physics paper on it. I had such a good grade in the class that instead of taking the final, I said, if you don't want to take the final, you can write a term paper on something, and I'll let that be your final. And I said, yeah, that'd be fun. Let's do that. Because he told me I had an A no matter what. So I said, yeah. So I did actually a term paper on near-death experiences in my physics class senior year of high school. Like, I've been into this for a very long time. I've read a lot of stuff. I've experienced people. I don't want you to believe me. I don't expect people to believe me, but that's my story. I mean, that's what I've been doing. So, Autumn, Dan, you're so right about setting a deadline. Neville says everything has its appointed time. I totally agree with you. I think it gets so much harder when we just, I don't know. Anyway, it's okay that you're doing the letting go process. Okay. All right, Jason E. Wallace. There are some videos where people have done significant physical changes. Pretty cool. Yeah, I've also heard a lot of people claim a lot of things too. Again, the one thing, I don't know, I don't want to get too far off on, but just, are they trying to sell something? That's the first question I ask. And if that's part of the case, then that's part of it. I'm just saying. Full cast crown. I'm so single. If I win a trip for two, I'm going twice. So I am is what I am is, by the way. We've talked about I am. Go do full castle crown. Go do some searches on the concept of I am. Not necessarily even on my channel. I've talked a few times about it, but I am. Just do some research on that, because your statement, I'm so single, just saying, and you did it in a public forum. So you are really just trying to make that one come home. BP, again, thank you for earlier. Don't get lazy. Yeah, you can actually just do IX. Yeah, I know. And you can get the little glasses and look through all. I know there's a lot of things you can do. I know. I didn't know you did live shows. Oh, hey, Latin Roses. I do. And yeah, we did a show together. By the way, Latin Roses, guys, she's on here and she did a neat interview. I thought it was pretty fun. And if a lot of you guys are curious about my manifesting stuff, for sure. And then actually the show I put out Friday morning, yesterday morning, whatever, Saturday to some of you, or that gentleman earlier, that's in Tuesday somehow, whatever. But yeah, I talked about some of the things I've manifested. So Latin Roses, great channel. Check her out. Subscribe to her. She's doing all sorts of good stuff, makeup, and does some really cool law of attraction stuff. I forget some of the other stuff you do, Latin Roses, but that's awesome. Yeah, I do live shows. I've been trying to do them every Saturday, usually around 8 a.m. My time, and they've been going close to 2 hours like they are right now. Regarding children who get disease, it's because children can't channel energy. Yeah, I get that. They can't channel energy themselves, so they tend to pick up on the energy from their guardians or parents. It's very true. They also learn from who is around them. It's kind of interesting how children of obese parents tend to be obese themselves, right? We tend to all eat the same way. And thusly, healthy children or healthy parents tend to have more kind of healthy children. Again, it's like, what are healthy choices? What are bad choices? What are good choices? What are choices anyway? Love, living, peach dream. Some teachers teach that we can manifest anyone, but your perspective that we cannot change what people want sounds like we can't. See, I don't see it as black and white as you, and I guess this is where I fail. You said you didn't want to say that we can't, but it seems that if you have. So I think that's something that's pushed out. So let's have a fun little chat about that. What I'm saying is if someone doesn't want to be the thing that you're trying to make them do or influence them to do, if they don't want to, then they can choose not to. Great example is if, say, for example, maybe someone's homosexual and they want someone that's not homosexual to be homosexual. Could they make them be homosexual? Well, that individual that's not currently homosexual, maybe he experiments, maybe he tries it and goes, ooh, I don't like it. Maybe he sort of almost tries it and doesn't like it. Maybe you think he is, but he's not. Maybe he knows he's not, whatever. I could fall into any number of categories, just using a crazy example. But should you be able to make him become homosexual if he doesn't want to be? And I know everyone says everyone's you pushed out. I don't buy it quite to the extent of I'm not you, right? Like I'm not just here to mouthpiece what you need to hear. You're resonating with the energy and the vibration, and so that's why all of us are in this happy family together. But I'm not you, and you're not me, right? You're not me pushed into some other city in some other location. You're your own soul, and you're experiencing your own life, and so are they. So again, can we make people do things? No, I don't believe you can make anybody do something. So if you're trying to make somebody be in your life that doesn't want to be in your life, maybe you should work on the quality of person you are, and maybe you'll be more attractive to them and thusly influence them. So no, I'm not saying you can't. And I always frequently say, as all coaches do, and you have to, anything is possible. I've even said that about trying to grow taller. So yeah, anything's possible. But people got to understand that there's other aspects at play. And if you're a jerkhole to somebody and then expecting them to just tolerate that, that's not a very cool life to ask of somebody else. They say, do unto others as you would have done unto you. And certainly expect others to want to reciprocate back what you're giving to them. And if you're not being a good person, if you're a violent person, if you're a lot of not good things, and you feel like you should be able to manifest somebody into your world where you can be violent to them, well, what kind of world is that where I don't have choice? So yes, they have choice. They can do what they want. I'd keep that in mind. And so your perspective on it, I don't agree with. I think that's you pushed out and you seeing something very black and white. Either I can do this or I can't do this. Well, there's maybe the self-love component to it. Maybe there's some other legs to this table that you need to consider rather than all I got to do is just think thoughts and then no matter what. Well, that's not necessarily the case. So I'm just trying to give good advice, and you don't have to follow that. That's for sure. Change yourself if you want to see change in another. I mean, thank you, Lisa Marie. I'm reading the same books all these other people are. I'm just sharing information. That being said, yeah, thank you, love, live in peach and dream. Awesome. Melanie, and we're at the end, guys. I think I'll take this last question from Melanie because we're pushing 2 hours, and that starts to get tough. Neville Goddard always talks about feeling, but I feel like my feelings are numb. Like I can be cold-hearted. How do I switch this around? Learn how to feel again. Spend time trying to feel again. Get a puppy. Spend times in nature. Find things that help you connect with your soul again. Because frankly, if your feelings are turned off, you're gonna have a hard time experiencing life. You're gonna have a hard time in a relationship if you can't feel. You can't be in love. You can't feel remorse if you've done something wrong. Then it makes it really hard to have a healthy relationship with someone like that. So, looking into the different ways that where you can feel, like touching movies, maybe get a good cry out. I don't know. I've actually done that before, and I'm a dude like where I really just knew I needed to. I was like bummed, and I couldn't. I just it wasn't enough to make me cry. So I put on like Ghost or something stupid like that because that's like a great movie that just totally rips me apart. Like there's a couple movies I've got that just make me cry, and it feels good sometimes. Sometimes you got to get it out. So anyway, dudes don't necessarily do that. Sorry guys if that bothers you, but women, you understand what I'm talking about. It's that emotion, and you actually release endorphins when you cry, so you actually just feel better. So sometimes it's good to do that. So try to, I said so too much, but try to work on getting into places where you can feel better, whatever that is, going to a playground, being a kid again, playing video games. And what story I've said he's okay, you guys are talking to someone else probably. Bonnie, or if you're deeply insecure, okay. Girl at the beach, can you explain the deadline thing? Everything should have a deadline in your take? Are you asking me that, girl at the beach? I'm not sure. Crypto Cat Melanie by breathing your... Yeah, I guess I'm going to chill if girl at the beach got a follow-up on that. Like, if you think deadlines are good, I don't know, I'd be kind of curious. Maybe... I don't know. I don't think deadlines are good. I've explained why. That being said, I don't think they work well. But I appreciate everybody. Thank you guys. Had a good time doing all this, always. And hope everybody enjoys. We'll try to keep doing this again on Saturdays. So it seems like we had a good chunk of people out there. Thank you for the top chats. You guys are awesome. Jonathan and BP, you guys are amazing. I appreciate each and every one of you. Again, yeah, we take questions for some of you guys. I tend to hop in early, and it's kind of fun. If I usually try to put something up front and maybe get, take a couple early questions before I actually start live streaming. Because the second that little thing pops up that says, hey, Dan's doing a thing in 30 minutes, and it starts counting down, that's actually a live stream. Like, I've literally got it open, and you can chat in that. I mean, if you're just bored, I wouldn't recommend you do that because you have to wait 30 minutes still before I'm going to talk. But I will respond. It's usually I'm working on, other things, getting ready, making sure I got my notes and my head wrapped around stuff. But whatever. You guys are the best. Thank you guys. Autumn Beauty, thank you so much. Did we ever get a response back from Girl at the Beach? No, I don't even see it. All right. Sorry. I hope I didn't say something to upset Girl at the Beach because she may have already dropped. Anyway, just looking at some of the comments. Sorry, not very good at this. Anyway, guys, I love you. Thank you. And we'll do more good stuff coming soon. Promise.